Hi class, Mrs. Calvi here, reviewing multiplying decimals. Now, when we are multiplying decimals, order is not going to matter. The order of multiplication doesn't matter, so I always start with the number that has the most digits on top. So for example, here I have 17 hundredths, and I'm multiplying it by 3. So I would put the 17 hundredths on top because that has the most digits. And don't forget, when we multiply, we shift everything to the right, okay? So now I'm going to multiply the way you would typically multiply. So here, 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. If you notice, once I use what I've carried over, I circle it so I know I've used it already. And then 3 times 0 is 0. So now, the difference between adding and subtracting decimals and multiplying decimals. For adding and subtracting, we carry our decimal straight down. Do not ever do that for multiplication. No, no, no. You do not carry it down for multiplication. You are going to count scoops. And by that, I mean from the end of the number, count how many scoops it takes you to get to the decimal. So 1, 2. It took me 2 scoops to get to that decimal. So from the end of my answer, 1, 2 scoops to see where my decimal goes. So in this case, my final answer is 51 hundredths. Okay? So let's try another one. And this time we're going to have both numbers have a decimal so I can show you how that would work out. So here I am multiplying 3 and 25 hundredths times 4 and 8 tenths. So again, I'm always going to start with the number that has the most digits. So I'm starting with the 3 and 25 hundredths because that has 3 digits. And I'm multiplying that by 4 and 8 tenths. Common mistake students make, they want to line up the decimal here. You do not line up the decimal for multiplication. You shift everything to the right and line everything up to the right. All right, so now I'm just going to do my multiplication. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 4 gives me 20. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. So I am done with my 8. I need a placeholder. So now 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So I need to add these. 0, 0, 6, 5, and 1. Now I need to count scoops for my decimal. So it's going to take me 2 scoops for the top number and another one for the bottom number. So a total of 3 scoops. So in my final answer, 1, 2, 3. And that's where my decimal goes. So in this case, my final answer was 15 and 600 thousandths, but you can just put 15 and 6 tenths because that means the same thing here. Okay, so remember, you do not line up your decimals for multiplication, and when you need to figure out where your decimal goes in your final answer, you are going to be counting scoops. All right, let's try another one. All right, so here we are multiplying 5 hundredths times 9 tenths. I'm going to put the 5 hundredths on top because that has the most digits. Multiply it by 9 tenths, shift everything to the right. And now we're going to multiply. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 4 gives me 4. 9 times 0 is 0. Now, I don't need to go to the next place value because it's a 0. So I can stop here. So now remember, I'm counting scoops. So 1, 2, 3 scoops total. So 1, 2, 3 scoops. And you're going to want to put a 0 in the whole number space when you give your final answer. So my final answer here is 45 thousandths for the final answer. Okay. Okay, so I want you to watch as to what happens with this one. So remember, I'm going to start with the number that has the most digits on top. And here, that's my 36 thousandths. So I'm going to put that number on top, multiply it by the 2 3/10 by shifting everything to the right. And watch what happens with this problem. So we have 3 times 6, which is 18. 3 times 9, which is 9 plus 1, gives us 10. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 3 times 0 is 0. So we are done with our 3. We need a placeholder. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Okay, so watch what happens here. We're going to add 8 plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 plus 7 is 8. And bring down our zeros. So here we are going to count scoops, don't forget. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to make sure you're going in between those zeros here. So final answer would be 0.0828 for a final answer. Okay. Now, sometimes what you will see happen, I'm just going to give you a quick example. Sometimes you'll get a final answer of, let's just say it was 564, and you ended up having 4 scoops. Okay. I'm just giving you an example. Say you counted 4 scoops in the 2 numbers. So this is my final answer that I came down with. Now I need to add my decimal. 1, 2, 3. I have to go 4 scoops. I would put a placeholder here. And then your final answer would be, 564 10,000ths. Okay, so this was just an example. If you had to go over 4 scoops and your scoops ended at 3 with a number, you still have to go that 4th one and put a 0 for a placeholder. All right, last type of problem that we're going to go over is when you are evaluating. Remember, evaluate means to solve. All right, evaluate means to solve. So if it said to evaluate 3x when x is equal to 4.01 or 4 1/100ths. So I'm going to plug in this 4 1/100ths in for x. Now, the number is next to the variable. That means we need to multiply. So that means we are multiplying 3 times 4 1/100th. So now we're just going to do the math. So I'm going to put 4 1/100th on top because that has the most digits. Shift everything to the right. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12. Count scoops to see where your decimal goes. 1, 2, 1, 2. Final answer, 12 3/100ths. So remember, when we are evaluating, we are solving. We are plugging in the value of the variable. Oh, I put W. This should have been X. Sorry, guys. That should have been X because X is equal to 4 1/100th, not W. Don't know why I put W there. Sorry. All right. Okay. That is it for now, and I will talk to you soon.